welcome in to Red Hawk Spotlight, our first edition of the school year, and we are joined by women's soccer head coach and NJAC winning head coach, Patrick Naughter. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Here.
So take me through what's going on right now. How's the day-to-day? You win the NJAC championship. You get to enjoy the spring at all? Do you get a chance with recruiting, with spring practices, with everything going on to sit back?
Not too much sitting back. Obviously, the weather has made recruiting a little bit more difficult. We've had to squeeze a lot of evaluations of players into a shorter window. And a lot of kids want to be a part of it. We're getting a ton of emails, a ton of interest from everybody, which is a good thing. But you know, it's more kids to evaluate, more people to get out and see it. Very thankful our associate head coach, Erin Sullivan, has kind of taken the lead on that, and she does a great job of making sure we stay organized and on top of it. But have a lot of the evaluations done. Now hope the weather cooperates, get some student athletes up here for visits and show them around. But no, not too much dead time in the calendar.
I just took a walk by Soccer Park on the way here today. I mean, I can see not quite ready for game conditions, but I will ask, over this winter time and over the last few months, have you had a chance to sort of sit back and be able to reflect upon what you accomplished this past fall?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And I think there's different times where it comes up. You know, you'll run into somebody or over the holidays and say, you know, like, hey, great season. And you're like, wow, I didn't even think you guys were paying attention, you know. And when now you get out and recruit and you run into some of your colleagues, and they're like, wow, you know, what you did this year, what your team did this year was pretty amazing. And it's a little bit humbling, and it's a little bit like you pinch yourself a little bit like, yeah, that just happened. Like we had a really special year. And then you get back to campus and you see, you know, you reconnect with the players and you're like, okay, that was awesome. And here we go. Every year the kind of roster changes and things move on and things move forward. And you got to put the work in to hopefully have another special year.
Coach was kind enough to bring the trophy with us today. I do want to take a quick rewind before obviously we get to the 2025 season. I want to get into your backstory and how you ended up here. So you were part of the men's program here. Obviously, you later joined as an assistant. Now you're the women's head coach.
Yeah.
When did coaching for you open up, and when did you see that path?
Interestingly enough, probably on one of my worst days. I shattered my kneecap when I was playing here, and that ended my season, and I wasn't able to get back for my last year. But I was fortunate enough that the program kind of stayed with me. And they kept me around, and while I wasn't able to participate, I was at practice every day and around the team every day, and you kind of get a different perspective. You kind of started to understand why coaches make decisions that they make, and I was like, almost immediately, I always knew kind of as a little kid I wanted to coach. Sports were going to be a part of my life in some way, but just that experience of being around college soccer day in, day out without being able to participate as a player, that kind of like sparked it. And then I kind of just figured out like I want to do as much coaching as I can at the highest level as I can and try to figure out a way to make a living doing it, which is the hard part.
And so it's been a little bit of a journey for you. You ended up at the high school level with Northern Highlands. You go on a playoff run in 2009.
Yeah.
Right after that, you get the call to
Yeah.
return to your alma mater. And what is your reaction?
At first, I didn't think the call was for me. I was coaching boys soccer at the time, and the girls soccer program at Northern Highlands was exceptional. And I got a phone call that this job was opening up, and I thought that people were interested in the girls coach at Northern Highlands at the time, Tara Madigan. And I was kind of like, oh, I'll see. And I remember then on the other end, Rob Chesney saying to me, like, why don't you consider it? And I was like, me? You know, this doesn't make sense. I'm going to be a special ed teacher and a high school coach, and I thought that was going to be my pathway going forward. But it didn't take long. Like, this place is really special to me. It meant a lot to my development. I have a lot of really fond memories. So even when I wasn't here as a player or coach, like when I was a little kid, I used to come to watch sporting events here. And then when I was off teaching, and coaching other teams, I always paid attention to how Montclair State Athletics was doing. So the opportunity to be a part of it again was like no-brainer. You know what I mean? Like I was like, I have to do this. So, you know, my parents at the time weren't thrilled that I was giving up tenure and a little bit better salary, but whatever. I figured if it didn't work out, I could go teach at a different high school and coach at a different high school. But this opportunity was once in a lifetime, and had to take my shot.
That's amazing. And so first year, you come on in. You guys are below 500. It's the only time in your collegiate career, that you've been below 500. The next year, after missing the NJAC tournament, you're first. You make the NJAC semis.
Yeah.
The next year, you win the NJAC, and the rest is history. In your mind, what began that turnaround and what drove it with you at the top of this program?
The kids we were able to bring in early on, I was really shocked when I got back here and realized like how much the school had changed and what a great place it is. And then just the opportunity to go out and try to recruit some high-level players. And that first recruiting class that we brought in had multiple All-Americans in it, and that group was special. Their last 3 years, they lost 5 games and were nationally ranked #1 in the country. And that group of kids who came in really turned it around from, you know, like you said, a quick turnaround from being 500, not making the NJAC that first year, to winning the NJAC that third year. When that group was sophomores was special.
It was the first of now 4 for you,
Yeah.
and I want to get to this now, championship winning season. There's something that you mentioned moments after when we spoke with you on the Red Hawk Sports Network, after you guys raised the banner. You said that you thought this team would be bang average, in your own words, coming into this season. So I want to ask, when did that change for you? At what point? Was it the summer? Was it after the first couple of games? When did that hit you that this could be something special?
It's a great question. I think for me, I started to really believe when we tied Rowan in the regular season. The first couple games, we had some ties that weren't great, you know, against teams that I thought we had more talent than. And you know, we were losing to Rowan, and we played really well, and it just kind of felt like it wasn't going to be our day. And then this group just kept pressing and kept going, and their energy was so good at the end of the game. You know, Rowan was one of the best teams in America at that time, and for us to come back late and Shannon Mullins scores a goal with a couple minutes left, it was kind of like, wow, this group is got those intangible pieces that are better than their talent. You know, and that's not a knock. We're talented. Like I get that. But they believe, they fight for each other, they care about one another, and they figure out ways to get results that was really, really impressive.
When you continue to carry on during an undefeated season and the win count continues to get higher, obviously the loss count's still at 0, how do you at the top have to enforce, I guess, that one game at a time or one match at a time mentality?
The ties in the beginning of the year helped because we didn't think we were very good. You know, we could always look back and say like, hey, those are games that you should have won that we didn't win. And we played Moravian, and I remember that was the one halftime where I was really disappointed in how we were playing. And I challenged that group to say like, hey, if you guys want to be good, this is a game we should win. Like this is a game where we should score goals, where we shouldn't concede anything. And right now we're just kind of running through the motions. And to start that second half, Sammy Lukovic got a goal. She played out of her mind that day. And I remember like we ended up winning by a comfortable margin. And that part of it was like, we can be really, really good, or we can be okay. We can be bang average. And that was something that was kind of like threw it on the players, like it's in your hands. And we had a tremendous group of seniors and leaders who very often did the policing of that kind of behavior themselves. And they made sure, like, you know, when it's your last year, your last chance, didn't really worry about who wasn't here or what wasn't happening or ties we had in the beginning of the year. They knew we could keep going and we controlled our own destiny. So they deserve a ton of the credit for that.
And it's worth mentioning that you guys did have adversity during this season. I mean, for example, you guys gave away a 2-goal lead against TCNJ in a game that ended up being a draw. You ended up rattling off 3 more wins after that. You trailed by Rowan at 2 different points in the regular season match. You came back in both cases to force a draw there. Is that, again, a senior type of thing, or just what is the message with the adversity and being able to handle it?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is the character of the individuals. Our group of seniors are tough kids and kids who had been through their own adversity in their lives, and we had dealt with a lot of adversity and a lot of things while they were here. When they were seniors in high school, my brother and my father passed away that spring in a 2-month period. And those guys came into a program, and that obviously rocked me. On a happier note, I started a family. I had my son in that same time period. So there was a lot going on in my own life, and that group of kids was never rocked. They were never rattled by anything. They just kind of showed up every day, great attitudes, great energy, and continued to improve. And if things didn't go our way, it didn't affect them. If things went our way, it didn't affect them, which I think is very hard as well. So I think their toughness, their character as individuals, then their collective love of one another, it's a group of kids who came together really close, and they really care about each other, and their willingness to make each other successful was unique. When the younger players see that, you admire it, you want to become that, you model that. And that's something that I'm very fortunate, and it's no surprise when you have a successful group, you have a really awesome group of leaders. And this group of leaders was as good as it gets.
That's really powerful. And as you went in throughout the season, I feel like there was one team that seemed like a team of destiny in the NJAC, and that was Rowan. I mean, they upset #1 Messiah on their home field. They end up cruising through the NJAC regular season, apart from you guys for the most part.
Yeah.
After your first match against them, how did you feel then going into the NJAC final?
We knew at that point we could play with anybody. We felt we could score goals on anybody. We felt like we could defend people well enough to score goals. So we felt like we had a puncher's chance against anybody. They were really good. They're always really good. TCNJ is always really good. The NJAC conference is always really good. The fact that over the 2 months that we won the regular season, not only does it give you a home field, but it gives you confidence that against taking the same test as everybody else, you did a little bit better. And it was the slightest of margins, but you did a little bit better. That's something we hung our hat on. Like we can beat anybody. We can play with anybody. We just hope it's our day, and we're fortunate it was our day.
So take me through it. We got to ask about the moment.
Yeah.
In the 86th minute, Samira Lukovic ties the match at 1.
Yeah.
Take me through your vantage point.
So I remember talking to you guys after the game. I didn't know who scored. I thought it was Carly Gazzardo who scored, and then everybody corrected me. But at that point, you're down late. You need the goal. We were in a different formation. We were pushing numbers forward, and sometimes that could make the game a little too chaotic, and the kids can get a little too frenzied. And I thought we did a really good job of just staying in our patterns and playing. We got a ball out wide. Iz gets the ball, gets in behind them. Carly plays a great ball, and Iz does everything right. Like, she doesn't try to shoot from a bad angle and be the hero. She cuts it back. There's a little bit of a scramble, and Sammy finishes it. Thank God she was there, but she's always there. She's always in the right place at the right time.
And we caught you running up from your spot over on the bench all the way down to the corner.
Yeah.
What are those emotions at that moment? Well, you still have a game to play, but this is what we were looking for.
It was relief. It was joy. It was I don't believe it. ecstatic. And there's just so much built up. You're so happy for the kids that it's just like, you know, you don't, there's moments where you kind of black out a little bit and you're like, how did I get to the corner flag? You know, like, what am I doing here? And then I'm like, wait, who has to go in the game now? Like, we have to make another sub. We have to figure this out. So, yeah, it was wild. It's one of those moments you're never going to forget, that feeling. And this group gave us a bunch of those feelings this year. That's the fun part. Like, it wasn't cruising and winning 3-0 and feet up. And it was hard. It was a lot of comebacks. It was a lot of, like, tight moments, and it was awesome.
So we'll fast forward to what probably felt like 6 hours in your mind.
Yeah.
Was probably about 30 or 45 minutes of real time.
Yeah.
We go to penalty kicks to decide the NJAC champion. And we get to your final penalty kick, evened up.
Yeah.
And you send your goalkeeper,
Yeah.
Solange Bell, out to the penalty mark. In your mind, what was your confidence level and what was your thought process?
So we had missed a bunch of penalties throughout the year. And that was one of the things we had struggled with and we were working on. We had practiced them a lot. And, you know, we were confident in a bunch of players. We were confident that a bunch of kids were going to step up and hit it. And when it came down to doing the order, you do play that in your mind. Like, what if? What if it's you've got to hit it to stay alive or you got to hit it to win? Who's the kid who's going to do that? And Solange just kind of had nerves of steel, and she was kind of that kid that was never afraid, was never worried about anything. So did I think she was going to smoke it into the upper corner? No. Like, I thought she was going to hit the net, but she hit a bomb. And then she's got to get back in goal, you know, like, then it's not over. She got back in goal and gets a touch on it. She claims she got a touch on it. We don't know if she missed it and just hit the bar, but and then that was that, and that's another moment. I don't know where I ended up or what happened or where I was, but you know, that's just a feeling of euphoria. That's just outrageous.
Do you think it plays to her benefit that maybe she was in the zone all throughout PKs and that she's in the net and has to worry about constantly what's coming next? Do you think that goes into it?
Yeah, that's one of the hardest things about PKs is you're standing at midfield watching success and failure. You're hearing the crowd. There's a lot of time to think. If you're in goal trying to make saves, you don't have time to think. You know, it's just read and react. It's not something we've done in the past. We've been in a lot, as a program, we've been in a lot of penalty kick situations. We've had a lot of goalies with great, like, the characteristics and the makeup to do it. We've never pulled the trigger before, but just as a coaching staff, it was something like, we didn't know if she was going to make it or not, but we knew she wasn't going to, the moment was going to be too big for her. And that's something that we were kind of comfortable with.
And what a tremendous career she had at Montclair State,
Yeah.
two-time NJAC goalkeeper of the year. And that's something that sort of transitioned us into our next topic because Solange Bell is now transferring and going to the Division I level. What are your thoughts for her? I mean, it's a Montclair kid,
Yep.
went to high school here, decided to stay home at the Division III level. Now has a chance to go spread her wings.
Yeah, we wish her nothing but the best. You know, she was a kid who had a huge impact on the school and the program. You know, she was part of the NJAC champion basketball team in 24. So, like, I mean, in 25 actually. So that's pretty wild career. We knew when we were recruiting Solange that was something that might come about, and it's something we were always in the back of our mind prepared for and ready for, and she's got an opportunity that in her mind is great for her and her family, and that's what we want. When kids come to this program, we want them to be in great situations, and the situation that she finds herself in works for her and works for her family. So we're excited for her. We're happy for her. We'll be paying attention, and you know, was in touch with her not too long ago. So she seems like she's doing pretty well.
That's great. And for her, I mean, it's tough, obviously, as a head coach because it's hard to process a loss like that. But is there anything that you gave her, any advice or any, I guess, parting words with her way out of the program and for all her contributions and what's next for her as well?
Yeah, I mean, but it's something that we're used to. Like, when you're a good team and you have good players leave, you know, good players graduate. And it's something that you're always trying to find what's next. You know, Solange is a kid who is confident and she's self-assured, and I just told her to go have fun and do her thing. She'll be fine.
And she joins a group of Redhawks, and as you mentioned earlier on, this senior class that gave everything to this program over the last couple of years. How do you now deal, and is it something that you tackle in the spring, dealing with those losses and sort of plugging those holes for the fall?
Yeah, so one of the things is when you have a group like this, people want to be a part of it. And it's been, once we can get players up onto campus and show them around and they meet the people in the program, it's attractive. Kids want to be a part of it. So how do we replace it? It's first is internal development. Like, our kids work really hard to get better every day. So they're in the weight room. We're not in contact with them. Like, we're not coaching them or anything at this point, but they're working really hard. We just had a few players stop by the office this morning. They look exhausted, and they were just working out on their own. And that's kind of the culture that exists here, is that, we want to win games, and everybody wants to win games, but not everybody wants to do the work required to win games. So the group of players that we're returning are talented, are driven, are determined. They've had a taste of success. They're hungry for more of it. And we're also getting a lot of attention from transfers who look at it and say, like, wait a minute, Montclair is in a great area to go to school. They have every major under the sun. There's a soccer program that's winning games. You play in world-class facilities. Like, this is exactly what we want. And a lot of times people make decisions at 17 to kind of impress their lunch table. And then they go to college and they're like, wait a minute, we're winning 4 games a year. This isn't fun. There's 50 people at a game. This is boring. And they're seeing what we're doing, and seems like playing in an NJAC final could be fun, and they want to be a part of it. So the transfer portal has benefited us greatly in the past. We're hoping that it, again, comes to fruition, but you can't count on it. So the one thing we count on is developing the kids we have here and then trying to attract players who fit our system. And again, Aaron Sullivan is as good as anybody at locating those players, telling the story of what playing at Montclair is about, the benefits of this place, and our recruiting class next year. We're really excited to get those kids up here.
As for returnees, I mean, you kind of have a mix of both. You have, first of all, a tremendous freshman class that played a ton coming in this season and handled themselves very, very well. You also have returnees who transferred in last year, like Isabel Cronow.
Yeah.
So being able to have that blend and have people that you're confident in that group I just mentioned, there's nobody older than going into their junior season. So how do you feel looking to almost build on to what you already have, and hopefully they learn from that senior class?
Absolutely, and that's the freshman class is why I underestimated this group. I didn't know they would get up to speed as quickly as they did, and they did a great job coming in prepared to play, picking up our system, learning our system, and then, like, even when they struggled, they kept their heads up. And as a group, I think the culture of the group, everybody supported them and said, like, hey, it's okay, play the next play, let's keep moving forward. That group of young kids with a year under their belt, it's a little bit dicey, where you hope they don't get comfortable, where you hope they feel like that they haven't made it. But with the character of the individuals we're talking about, I think sky's the limits. Like, I think they're pressing really hard to get even better. They want to improve, and they're competitive people. So that part's going to be a lot of fun to see. And then that older group, they're getting, while you said they still have time left, they're getting towards the end. And they know that nothing's guaranteed and that, it's hard to win. They want to make sure they're doing everything in their power to put us in a position to win.
And as far as getting comfortable, I want to turn this now back around on you. I mean, you've accomplished so much, and this season was almost picture perfect. You swept the NJAC awards, you won the regular season title, you win the postseason title in the conference. How do you stay motivated?
It's going to sound corny, it's going to sound whatever, but my family. My son's 4 years old now, and like we'll play in the basement and he'll say, I want to be Shannon Mullins, or I want to be Kylie Pendergast. And, he loves this basketball team this year. Like, he pretends to be Jacob Morales and take jump shots on his Nerf hoop. So when it's we play on a Wednesday night and it's late and the game goes after his bedtime, and Thursday morning he wakes up and says, how do you do? Like, I want to tell him we won, you know, and that part of it. But just the joy it brings to my kids and the support I get from my wife, and I don't want them walking around feeling like, we lost, you know, like that part of it. That's the individual kind of like why I want to make sure we're as good as possible. But ultimately, I don't lose sight of the fragility of a college career. At best, you get 4 seasons to play, right? And I know my playing career was cut short. I don't take anything for granted for the kids, even though this is the only job I ever want and I want to be here for as long as I can. I know they're on borrowed time. So there comes a responsibility that I feel to make sure it's the best experience possible for them. That I can't just say like, you know, when you look at my career, this 3-year period that didn't go well, it's not about me. It's going to be about, you know, that's the only time that Shannon and Danielle Mullins have. Like, this is the only time that Aria Hicks is going to be in college. And I want them to win as many of these things as they can, to have as much fun as they can, to be as good as they can be.
And so you still got more in the tank.
Oh yeah. And I got to make more money too. I got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, so diapers are expensive, and yeah.
Wonderful. Well, Coach, we thank you so much for joining us here on Red Hawk Spotlight. It's been a tremendous episode. Congratulations to you on a tremendous season. Congratulations on all that you've accomplished with your family. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks a lot.
Why don't we clink one more time?
Yeah, there it is.
Thanks for joining us. Once again, Red Hawk Spotlight, first edition of the semester, Coach Patrick Naughter.
Thanks a lot.